You're sure.
Hi there, welcome to the latest episode. I'll just get her off the screen for a wee minute. Welcome to the latest episode of the Bakerston Live, and hopefully this one's been maybe as busy as our recent ones. And what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk over a podcast that John and I done last week, but John takes what he edit, and then when he eventually gets around to editing them, he still leaves mistakes in, which we'll talk about later. And the podcast was quite interesting. We spoke about a lot of things. We spoke about my previous and past, and then we got on to immigration and stuff, and it was rather quite interesting. So we'll look at bits of it tonight, and we'll talk you through what was going on. So where is he? There he's here. Hello, John. How are you?
Get him off the screen. I'm alright. How are you? What's happening?
Right. How are you?
I'm alright. I'm probably about. How many seconds are we behind tonight? 10 seconds? 5 seconds?
All right.
See,
what, are you watching it in your house?
No, your Wi-Fi, man. It's still behind.
I'm hearing you when I stop talking. It must be your end. My Wi-Fi's
anyway. I'm alright. I'm alright. I've been busy today, running about, and it's been a busy day, mate. It's been a busy day. But obviously this morning I put out your podcast. It's actually doing quite well, by the way. It's doing quite well for my, considering my numbers are quite low on my channel, but it's doing no bad, mate. Can't complain.
Yeah, it's down to who you invite on as guests. It kind of helps if you've got a good guest, John. At least it helps the numbers. That's kind of how podcasting works.
So I mean, I had Barbara O'Neill on, do you know what I mean? And the numbers were terrible, and I was like, what the hell's going on here? I mean, this is a woman who, when I done Barbara O'Neill's, right, I put her like a short on Facebook, and it had like, I think it was 150,000 views on the wee short, but on the podcast, it's like nothing, like 3,000. I'm like, what's going on here? It's weird. It's weird. Yeah, and then you come along and then you just blow Barbara O'Neill out the water.
Imagine that. Yeah, so what I've done, John, just I took the clip, the first sort of half hour, where it talks about my Rangers stuff, because a lot of people know me through that, and a lot of people have not got a clue what I done 10 years ago, so just thought I'd pop that out as a standalone. So I still got it up about half an hour ago, and it seems to be going as well, and I'll put a link to the full video in the description, which will hopefully drive some people towards you. So you seem right. You've watched. We spoke a lot about the immigration. We spoke a lot about the videos I've done on immigration, quite specifically the Cali trip over, and then I went to Lesbos over in Greece, the more recent trip. But when we were talking about it, you seemed genuinely, when I was watching it back, you seemed genuinely surprised in some of the stuff that I was talking about. Although I know you'd watched the videos because you knew some of the stuff that was on them. So what caught your imagination when we were talking through the immigration problems I had seen?
What do you mean? Like was I surprised, or was I mean, I guess. I mean, the immigration stuff, you know, as you say, I've always been the COVID guy. Now you're the immigration guy. And I guess, like, have I ever told you the story when I went to London about a year and a half ago?
You never told me a story ever.
Right, I'm going to tell you this story, right? So me and Alex Mitchell went down to London. I want to say it was for the COVID inquiry. So we went down for the COVID inquiry, right? And it was Scotland against England. Remember that game? Do you remember that friendly at all?
I don't remember a friendly. I remember Scotland playing England a few times, but
I think it was a friendly. But anyway, so Scotland played England. I think it was 2023. And me and Alex went down, right? So we drove down the night before. And what happened? I think we were the only two Scottish that actually drove from Scotland down to actually Wembley. We were actually staying across the road from Wembley Stadium, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember turning into Alex, right? So it was like nearly kick-off, so I'm like, it's 7:30. I says, right, throw the things in the room, and then what we'll do is we'll find a pub and we'll go down and we'll try and go to watch the football. And I remember walking up to this Holiday Inn. So it was a big, massive Holiday Inn, right? And I walked up, and the door now, you get the revolving door.
Mhm.
Right, so the revolving door, I seen the revolving door, right, but it wasn't on. It was a side door, and at the side you had this big bouncer, these two big massive bouncers with stab-proof vests on. So I've walked up to the hotel and I'm thinking it's massive Holiday Inn. Surely they've got the football on in here. So I've walked up, bouncers like that. No, you can't get in here. And I'm sitting there going, this is a bit weird. So I poked my head in, right? And know how you've got the reception desk and that.
Mm-hmm. So that's a long story, John.
Aye. Right. So it's a reception desk. You get the reception desk. The screen wasn't on. Now you've got a TV screen behind them. So the TV screen wasn't on, right? And it was just all these people that weren't for this country, right? And they weren't the same colour of skin as us. So I remember walking out and I went like, Alex, I went, that was weird. And Alex went, what is it? And I went, I said, no, do I talk about this immigration stuff and that? And he went, aye. I said, I've just literally think I've witnessed it for myself. And then I kind of was like, well, it's London. So I've heard all these stories in London. And then, so tying that into your video, when you seen the amount of people coming over, and I always refer back to Johannesburg. All right, John. All right, Alan. I always refer to how South Africa is, Johannesburg. Like I say, we visit there, get family out there. And that video, remember when you phoned me and you sent me, and I was like, I said, that's frightening. So it really has, everything's just going on the new, Craig. It's just, I always say it, interlinked, and it's just getting scarier and scarier. So I think it's brilliant what you've done, mate. I got to take my hat off to you. Giving where credit's due. Do you know what I mean? For you to go out there yourself. To go out there yourself and, put the effort in. And, I've got to, again, where credit's due. You always kind of do a lot of information. You're always looking into things quite deeply. You're very good at, you're like a politician, to be honest about it. Yeah. Anyway. But no,
many politicians go to Cali to look at see what's going on.
I
think generally he maybe done it, but that's kind of, and he only done it after me and half the bloody press had done it. GB News were out as soon as I was there, and
but I mean, I think like you've got to take your hat off because it was like me with the farmers when I went down to do the farmers. Right, it's good. Everybody's saying we're going into food shortages. We're going to this, that, and the next thing. So I'm like, I'm going to go down and ask the farmers. I want to hear these concerns. So when you go down there and you literally are seeing it with your own eyes, you're documenting it and you're showing it. And now I'm looking around Scotland, Craig, and I'm witnessing it myself, how it's going on. And this country is always on it. It's like I said in the podcast, it's on its arse. NHS waiting list, dentist waiting list, pensioners, homelessness, housing crisis. The list goes on, doesn't it? I mean, you could go on and on about how much this country's failing, and the fact that we want to pile people from a different country into this, want to pile more and more people into this country says a hell of a lot. So it was an eye-opener. And the thing as well, when you mentioned about the vans and all that in the podcast, I didn't actually know that. So I hope that can answer your question in a kind of long-winded way.
Because like you get you talk to people, like yourself, folk you talk to a lot, and they're like, "How's your trip?" and whatever, and you get a lot of information and watch a video. I just felt through that interview there was stuff they were talking about, and you were like, "Shit, that's real," as if you'd heard it for the first time. And I need to tell folk, right? I've done something crazy with the house. Normally, I'm watching. I've got my laptop here, right? See, my laptop, and I'm normally watching there, and my camera's there. Right, I keep doing this all night, and you keep looking at the top of my baldy heat, right? I do that. I spend most of my time doing that, especially when there's guests in the room. So what I done tonight, I was down at a podcast studio today, and he had a big 40, 50-inch TV. The guy was using it as a monitor. I thought, that's great. I've got 2 TVs in the house that I never turn on. So I've plonked one right in the end of this desk, right? So when I'm looking, that's one corner. That's the other corner. That's the third corner. That's the fourth corner. So now I've got you on here, right? But I'm dead conscious because the camera's here, and I'm talking as if I'm aware here. So I do apologise, folks. I'm not looking over the top of the camera. I'm just trying to watch. That's me looking just now. That's me looking.
I don't know if your audio's on, by the way. It's quite echoey, so I don't know if your mic's on, by the way.
Hold on. Talk.
Hold on. Jobby.
So I don't know how it's echoing because you're coming through us. Do you know what I done the other day, John, as well? I'm a bit of a critic with the IT, right? I was putting out podcasts and I was, the sound was terrible, right? So I'm now recording even the ones I don't put out live in StreamYard, which is what we're using now. And then I go and edit them, right? The sound was rotten. I didn't realise that it's StreamYard. On the microphone it was using was the one after the laptop.
I think that's what you've got there now. I think that's what's happening now.
Yeah. I checked it.
Tap the top of it. Tap the top of it. Nah, it's not on.
You can't hear that?
No, no on.
See if I press the button. See if I
press. This is like the outtakes again for that podcast.
See that, John? Look, there's a wee flash of light, right?
What's it connected to?
Is that better?
Put up, Jimrith.
Is that better?
Much better. There we go. Bravo. That's it. Now we get Craig Houston talks.
John, you're the IT guy.
All about professionalism. All about professionalism.
I done about a week's worth of podcasts with that mic. And I couldn't figure it out. And I was just mucking about one day in StreamYard. I went, hold on, the microphone's on the laptop. So thanks for pointing out to me. Teaching your granddad there, John, we're getting it sorted. Oh, look,
every day. Every day.
Right, so I'm going to put wee bits here on, right? And the first thing I'm going to put on is the introduction, because it had like a wee bit of a compilation of what folk can expect. So I'll put this on and then you can have a wee.
Edinburgh, Falkirk, Glasgow, Manchester, and even Dover and London. Right, I've done all these trips in the last 6-8 weeks alone. Right, it's the same concerns all over Britain.
So with this country on its arse, we're bringing in 800, between 600 and 800 people.
No. We're bringing between 600 and 800 through that one entry point. Right? That's that one entry point. And I did tip all that till I went down.
Wow.
Because I'm going, we've been lied to here, because we're meant to accept. Now, actually, when you look back and you read what they say, they're not telling you a lie, they're just being cute the way they tell you.
I mean, for me, I am worried about the future of this country because of the way this government want to mould this future for them.
Well, if you're the type of person that believes in this sort of WEF or these sort of new
That's my thing.
Things, right? And it's about globalists, then you've not got anybody more globalist than SNP. Nice. Listen, I know people that are asylum seekers. I tell the story all the time about Baraka, the boy in Manchester, wee pal of mine. Boy spent first 14 years of his life in an asylum camp. His family fled before he was even born, the Congo, because of civil war. It was on their doorstep. Right? It wasn't miles away. It was at the end of the street when they got out of the house. Right? So if I've came for this country, had to pay a guy $2,000 to get me in the boat from Turkey to Lesbos, why would I not pay £200 to get a flight to Britain and then seek sanctuary there? They don't. And you go, it's bollocks, right? Meanwhile, your wee Baraka and his family are sitting in these camps for 17 years. So see, anybody wants to call me a far-right racist bigot because I think it's fair that these people shouldn't be in these camps for 17 years, well, somebody else is able to pay $6,000 and they're leaving France, by the way. Last time I looked, France isn't dangerous.
A few months ago, you were arrested, mate. Yeah. You allowed to talk much on it?
Right, so just pause it here. That was the intro.
Cliffhanger.
And by the way, see tonight, because we're watching a video, I've not got an open mic because it just goes nuts. Right? I've got too many people on and try to show videos and stuff. It just confuses hell out of me. And I don't think it's internet. I think it's my laptop. So, if anybody's got any questions, do me a big favour. Go on to the question, the comments, and put double Q in, and that way when I'm doing all your banter and the questions, I'll be able to see it better. And I think so. I'll put that one on. Change the banner. Send your questions.
I know it's on. I know it's on penalties, mate. Don't worry.
What?
He said, Stevie's like, tell John it's on to penalties. I'm like, I know. I don't want into Champions
Which one?
League. I want Europa.
Are Celtic no one?
No, it's not each.
No, it can't be not. Was it not each in the first leg?
Aye, not each.
So the game's finished and it's going into penalties.
It's only penalties in there. Anyway,
So
but I don't want
this team are in Kazakhstan. So what does that mean? We're away to penalties? All right, they're doing the penalties now.
Aye.
Right, well, I'll tell you what, Stevie, you keep us going in the score, right? Put the Celtic score in the penalties first and Borat's team second, right? So we know how we're going on. And he's going forward, isn't he?
No.
So
I don't want Champions League. I want thingy. I want Europa. Listen, I don't want to get into football too much, but I want to get into Europa, mate, because I've got more chance of winning it. You guys get into it. So I mean that says it all. You've got to the final before. Anyway, carry on.
Back to point. Back to Stevie, keep us the scores going, son. Come on. Do your bit for the people. Right. So back to the point, back to the video, the reason for having this live. So that wee sort of intro you put together, what was the one thing that was like, shit, that's nuts, out of that intro alone? Good, we can talk about that.
I think, well, Craig, I could have, that intro, right, was what, 2.5 minutes long, right? See, when I try and do an intro, I try and keep it a minute and a half. I literally, remember I texted you last night and I went, I'm trying to do this intro, right? Now, I'm sitting there last night and it literally I had 10 minutes to edit and I was like, there's too many good points here. So I guess what you're trying to get across is, I'm trying to get my point across, whereas I say that basically, what you get is two different things. What I'm saying is, you know, I think this is a bigger plan. So you're trying to get that in, but you're also getting at what you said about Wee Baraka and his family, and they're in a camp for 17 years. That's majorly highlighted. And then the part where we're getting lied about the number coming through. But again, Craig, there was so many, mate, so many issues that I could have highlighted. Honestly, there's like another bit I've got that I've actually want to put out, which is actually, I'm not going to do it as a preview, but I'll do like a segment bit. And I'm like, there's just so many bits, mate. There's so many bits. Not to blow your own bloody trumpet, you know what I mean? This is basically you want to do. You want to talk
it's not about me. It's about the story. Do you know what I mean? It's like, because like, see, when you make a podcast, especially when you're putting so many videos out about the one trip, for example, you don't know. We're no experts at this game. We don't kind of know what is going to grab the attention. And sometimes it's weird things that grab attention. So that was what I was asking for, you know, because I've been out there, spent a couple of 3 days in there, all over Cali and Dunkirk and whatever. And it was all interesting to me. And I'm just curious to find out what gets other people, what gets their attention, you know. But did you watch much of the Greece stuff down at Lesbos? Because that to me was just bonkers.
The stuff that you've done in Lesbos, again, very, very, I don't even know how to describe Lesbos. It was like something like a horror movie with some of the scenes you seen. I think you went into a building, wasn't it? And it was like handprints and it said something on the wall. And I'm like, this is like something like the Blair Witch Project. Because it doesn't know say, I can't remember what it said on it, and I think the bit that you spoke about with the car, like cut out when you get near that motor. And again, that ties in with a lot of things that I've been hearing about things that can be done, and they've got things that they can shut off power and all that. So, but it was good that, because remember when we had the conversation and you said basically, I think you referred to something. You went, they're telling us this is going on. They're literally. You remember you highlighted the paragraph and went, they're literally telling us on this website, and I was like, I know, mate. I was like, they're telling us. Well, they're telling you on their website, but the mainstream media aren't telling you why all this stuff's happening. So it was good, mate. It's not even. I don't even like saying it, because I hate when people say to me, "Oh, I love your content," and I'm like, "It's no content. It's a fucking warning." Sorry for swearing. Sorry for swearing. It's a warning, mate. It's a warning for what's to come, and exactly what you're talking about. It's a warning for what's to come. And what you made a fantastic point, actually, and I was sitting there going, he's on the money. When you said that basically what we've done is we've now created an industry of immigration. So now what it is, it's became a business. So therefore, the business, they're not going to want that stopping. And
it kind of doesn't matter how it started or who started it or why they started it. That's a different conversation, right? Because there's loads of different theories that people, Clergy plans and New World Orders and Illuminati, all this stuff, right? That they're all possibles. And I can't discount them anymore. But what we can't ignore is, regardless of how it all started, it's now created an industry that so many people are getting wealthy over. And Lesbos to me was an eye-opener, right? I kind of knew what I was getting when I went to Cali, right? I kind of knew, I didn't be like that camp thing I found, that was just nuts, right? But I knew I was going to go over there and see guys that were queuing up the French beaches to try and get to Britain, right? So you kind of understood that. And that's very much what I saw. But the Lesbos trip, I kind of thought I was going to see the same in Lesbos, just in a different country, i.e. that's the border between Europe and the rest of the world, right? But it didn't turn out like that. And what it did turn out to was a whole host of really creepy, bizarre, spooky things happening to me. And I was finding an EU facility out in the middle of nowhere, right? It just, you're like, why is that there? Right? You put up track. There's somebody guarding it. Then about a half an hour later, the only vehicle I seen coming along that road, because you wouldn't use that road to go between the two towns at either end of it, because the sat nav takes you a route inland on a normal road that is a half or a third of the time, right, to travel it, because it's a dirt track. So nobody goes up that dirt track unless you're me, just going from town to town. You're going there for a reason. So I've seen these guards. I've then seen an EU facility right in the middle of nowhere, next to, up a dirt track next to where the boats come in. You think, well, why would you put that there? And then the only car I seen in the whole hour it took me to go 6 miles was a pristine, immaculate, white people carrier with blacked out windows and a guy in a uniform driving, right? You're like, well, where's he going, right? Just all this mad stuff. There was the stuff
Men in black.
Aye, and then I went up into the forests up the hills to try and find this new camp that they're building. It's costing 70 or 80 million euros. And I couldn't find it. My sat nav went. I passed a person sitting in a pickup truck at the side of the road, and as I passed on the side of this dirt track, and I was going up, and I was like, what are they doing? And then I went up, another hairpin came up, went up higher, and the forest is getting denser. And then I realised, I got to about the road where there was a fork in the road, right? And I'm like, I'm not seeing that in my sat nav. I've got a straight road here. But why is this fork in the road? I kind of paused, and where it forked, the road was getting narrower again, and the trees were getting denser. I was like, this is a bit weird. So I thought, I'll try the maps on my phone to see if that's got this. I can try and work out where I'm going. So I've stopped the car, went into the phone, the maps on the phone. I then thought there was somebody that had a lot of military experience that was helping me through that trip. And I tried to phone him, and they signaled. I then thought, oh, bugger this, and I reversed. Now, there was 2 things that happened to my electronics that I didn't realise at the time. When I started getting back and reversed, and then this guard, I'm saying it's a guard, I don't know, I can only assume, came up that I'd passed earlier with the pickup. As our 23-point turn came and sat, T-boned me and pointed, are you going that way or that way? And I was like, I'm going that way, I'm had enough. And the guard went, saluted me and put the thumb up again, right? Who salutes people, right? It's just bizarre. So that car disappeared. I went down the hills, and after about 5 minutes, my radio came back on the car, and I didn't realise it was obviously in Greek or Turkish, because you're 6 miles away from Turkey on the coast. So I don't know what radio stations, but I had music on just for noise, and I had it way down low. And that came back on. I thought, Christ, I'd even lost my radio. And the other thing I didn't realise at the time far as my electronics was concerned. When I'm recording in my dash cam mounted camera, see if I don't end the video properly, it doesn't like finish the file and you lose the video. So when I got up the road and I was putting all the data into my laptop to try and make sense of what I'd seen, that file wasn't there. And it was because I hadn't finished it. I hadn't pressed the stop button. So I never got the footage with me hitting this bit with the fork in the road, reversing, T-boned and stuff. So in that forest, a mile away, last I seen in my maps, it was like 1.1 mile away for this destination, which was this new camp. I lost my sat nav in the car, the maps on my phone for signal, the radio in the car, and my camera. Right? And you're like, see if it was just like one of them, you'd go, you're out of range for the phone, but sat navs work off satellites to scan. And I spoke to somebody with military experience and I said, what was going on here? And they said, well, when they were in the Air Forces 10 years ago, we had stuff that blockers, right, that could do all that. He said, but it's quite heavy equipment. He went, so it's either you've been right on the doorstep of this facility and the jammer's been in the facility, or the person in the pickups had one in the pickup, and that's why they've got a pickup, and they've triggered it as you've passed. And I thought, well, that kind of makes sense, because it was as if my sat nav had frozen a straight back road, and I've just followed. And then I've not even looked at my sat nav because there's no options. You've got no directions to look at. And then eventually, when I got to this fork in the road, I've then looked at sat nav and thought, shit, it's a straight back road that I'm seeing in this map, and that's probably because the thing froze at the last point when it was getting satellite reception. So that made me go, well, that's a bit weird, right? All this stuff that's happening is really weird. So it made me actually then consider, well, I've seen this Frontex uniforming people. I've seen UN, is it UNHCR or UNCRH? That's the United Nations, what do you call it? Refugee group, right? So I thought, I need to start looking at them. And then I started looking at them. And it was just nuts. It was just nuts that all these coincidences. So I had to look at the things that I did see that I didn't know about before I went out, and that was the UN and the this border force called Frontex, which is a UN army basically. It's got 2,500 people in it now, and it's going to have 10,000 by 2027. And they tell you on your website you'll control the borders. And they've told you in press releases that if the countries that they're in try to interfere with their work, then they'll sanction them. And then the most recent thing is the UNHCR, who need all these people to come in because they've got a £10 billion a year budget. They don't want that. They've just opening 5 new centres to receive migrants into Greece, 4 islands and 1 in the mainland. They'll need to fill them up. So the Frontex will have the border control for the whole EU now. And the mob are going to look after all these migrants. I've done an agreement, cooperation agreement, where they're guaranteed that they will not stop the migrants. They'll actually welcome them and look after them and give them all their human rights. You go, well, and by the way, that's not me making stuff up. That's stuff that's there in black and white on their websites, in press releases, that I only identified because I went to the frontier of the EU for the immigration, saw some really crazy things and thought, what's going on here? And dug further while I was there. And it was all on the internet, I could have done it in the house. But unless I had went and done that trip, I would never have been spooked. I would never have been alerted to these things. And I would never have done the investigating that took me Google searches. So it's just and all these people, John, that are coming into EU, the vast majority of them will end up the next load of people that will be in the Calais Dunkirk coast. Because most of them I spoke to, I took one a run in my car and took him into town one day. He was standing outside waiting for a bus, and he was going into the and he told me that the vast majority of people in the camp, you're right, Craig, they want to come to Britain. And what they get when they come out of that camp is a letter, paperwork, that lets them travel anywhere in the EU. And then they ship them into the mainland, and then they can do what they want. And that's how they get from one place right to France, and then try and get here. So all these people that are queuing up to come into the EU, once they get here, the vast majority of them are going to try and come here.
Have you, so my question is, right, so there's obviously a starting process to this, right? Now, when GB News kind of covered it, GB News covered the part where they're saying that there's people trafficking and then there's people they're paying. So there must be some sort of filter going on where the trafficking must be. Do you know what I mean? Like, it'd be interesting to see. There must be ties there. Do you know what I mean? So if there's a trafficker and then bringing them in.
The strange thing.
His internet's away. You there?
Well, no, I'm trying to go on another page. Somebody's asked me for a link for something and I'm away to get it. So that's why.
Buy me a coffee's up, mate.
I'll put it
buy me a coffee.
It's normally
buy me a coffee story inside.
That's a link to the if you've got that on your phone, you can. I've just popped it in the comments. I normally put it in the description, so I do apologise. So whoever was asking for the buy me a coffee link, it's there now. So right, here's a mad thing about what you're talking about, the traffickers, John, right? Starmer's now been the Prime Minister in the country for, well, July, August, 14 months.
13 months.
And he's always told us, right, he's always told us he's going to smash the gangs, right? But the only arrest that they've done so far that they've told us about turned out to be a guy in Germany who sold them boat parts, not a gang, right? So he's not smashing anything. And I'm sure these gangs that are charging thousands of pounds for everybody to get in a boat or getting them to pay in lieu, which I'll talk about in a minute, then I'm sure they'll be able to find another guy to sell them boat parts, right? And it looks now that we saw that truck that's taking the dinghies back to France that they kind of don't need parts for them because we're just getting them the boats back, right? So it's just nonsense. If you wanted to smash the gangs, go and smash the gangs. Do that sort of agreement.
Can Scotland not do it? Is it just all Westminster's fault? Always? Can Scotland not do it? Does Swinney not have any powers over this or anyone in Scottish politics?
The Scottish government has no border control powers or immigration powers. But the odd thing is, this mob that are in power in Scotland now told us 6 months ago we've got a shortage of houses, right? So we had called a national housing emergency. And now they're telling Westminster that we need more powers, we want to write our own visas. So we want to bring more people here. Now, if anybody in Scottish Parliament thinks we need to start bringing more people here, now, we've got things in place. See where we've got genuine skill shortages. There's a route, and so it's not to build houses or make people better because we need doctors, right? Because there's already a policy for that. They're just wanting to write the road. Now, anybody in the right mind use common sense and logic. Say, well, you told us a few months ago that we didn't have enough houses. Now you're telling us we want to bring more people here. That's just bonkers. So I'm quite happy. And you know, you and I have both seen people who represent the SNP in Parliament and the Greens standing at protests in the last weekend alone, telling us refugees welcome here. Why would they trust these people with immigration? Three? Who's the three?
So there was two at the weekend in Perth, and then in Peterhead there was I don't know if it was a council. Well, no, you had Aberdeen, so in Peterhead, remember, I think Stephen said, but there was a guy who was a councillor for SNP standing with him.
I'm just talking about the last weekend alone. Kev's asked for an open mic. No, right now, Kevin, because I've got the video coming up soon, I'll get two people in, and the video's coming in, it's just chaos. So what I'll do is once we've talked about the video, and I've got the link that's working in the background that you can't see, I'll maybe open the floor after that, buddy. So there with me, I'll send you a personal
Q&A. Can be a Q&A.
He's special. He's special. Right.
You know what we should do? Here's a thing, right? So see how nobody knows what Kev looks like. What people should do is send in an image or go into Craig's Twitter and put in what you think Kev looks like, right? Obviously you've heard the voice, But go on to Craig's Twitter and post a picture, go into your Google Images and say, I think this is what Kev looks like. No.
Right, how did Celtic go on with the penalties? The penalties must be finished.
They're out. They're out.
By a team of Borats.
Craig, listen to me, right? I said this before. We
As
spoke
it
about this in the
stands.
right. We spoke about this in the podcast, right? I want to see my team lifting trophies, right? We spoke about it in the podcast. You know that Rangers is a business, and I know that Celtic's a business. See, when people go like, "Oh, we're going to get Hunters, Abuna, and all that," they don't care about you. They just want Celtic fans to accept getting into Champions League and getting pumped out. So I'm happy if we get moved right into Europa because I want to see them lift that trophy. That's where I'm at. So the night that doesn't bother me.
John, let me just remind you something, right? There's some decent teams in that Europa League, right? And you couldn't beat a team from Kazakhstan on penalties,
Craig,
right? So
Craig,
right?
Craig,
Well,
the two times you got into the UEFA Cup final in Europa, you had the worst run in the league and everything, right? So it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, but
right?
we're good at Europe. You're shite at Europe. You're just getting beat out by a team from Kazakhstan.
No. Well, we'll see. Right. We'll see. I want to see. I think we'll do all right in Europa, right?
That's a great question. That's a great. Wait a minute. That's sensible, right? Ross McArthur said, Craig, as SDP leader in Scotland, do you prefer reform or Labour? Well, that's kind of an easy one. That's reform. That doesn't make me a fan of reform. I think reform are poor at a lot of things. I think you have got the best chance out the bigger parties that can actually win an election. They are probably the least worst out of the lot. I'll be perfectly honest with you. If they went into power today, if there was a snap election today, they'd got a good chance of winning it. But I've got, and would it be better than what we've got? I would kind of think so because I don't think anything could be worse, right? But would
I got a leaflet off for reform today.
Great. So I kind of don't think the same thing. They'll upset people. They'll not upset people as much as Keir Starmer, right enough, right? But they'll know there's things that you would just expect reform to do, and they'll know there. So that's kind of. Anyway,
I wanted to read the leaflet to you. That was the whole point of me bringing it up. I wanted to show you
economically centre left. I have no idea what economically centre left means, Ross. So I'm not dodging the question. I just can't answer it because left and right, I'm fed up with it. They don't exist. And I'll tell you why. Do you believe in a national health service? The answer is yes, I do. Everybody says yes to that, right? That's a left of centre policy because that's the establishment taking responsibility for your health, right? Do you believe there's too much immigration? I kind of think most people say yes to that. Well, that's a right of centre policy. So if you believe in both of them, then what are you? You're left or right? So I kind of hate the language. If you want to explain to me what you're actually asking me, I'll answer it. I can't answer the question when I kind of go, I don't know what centre left is. I don't know what left is anymore. I don't know what right is. So centre left. If I say I or not to that, you might have a different interpretation as well. So,
am I allowed to answer the question? You bring me on the podcast and then I'm not allowed to speak.
Who says you're only allowed to speak? Just stop talking about Celtic. You're talking nonsense, right? I'm not even going to be doing that.
Anyway, at the end of the day, right, the honest answer is left wing and right wing. There's no left and right wing right at this point in time. It's common sense. And at this point in time, people need to understand that left and right, back in the day it meant something, but not nowadays. Not nowadays. And people need to understand that, again, I say it all the time, part of a plan. These people have got a goal, they've got a task, and that's what they need to do by 2030. So there's a reason there's chaos going on. That's my opinion. Craig might say different, but that's my opinion. But anyway, Craig, back to you in the studio.
Back to you in the studio. Right. So is there any bit of video you want us to bring up?
2.5 hours long, Craig. I mean, if you tell me to highlight certain times, I would have went to it. Let John get let John get a bloody word in. I mean, Craig, you could probably just scroll to a bit and just hit it, and then we could talk it. Do you know what I mean? Because there's so much. I think the Rangers and Celtic stuff's kind of done at the start, and then you could just go.
Right, so we'll not do anything in the first 30. We'll do something in the first 35 minutes, right? I'm laughing there. What am I laughing at? Let's see what that's bad is.
Probably when you walked out, didn't we?
A couple of day advert. That's me getting you paid now.
Good.
Oh, it's an advert. It's running an advert. We've seen it in adverts around mobility adverts.
There's kind of adverts, this.
Skip.
And I was like, I can't believe I managed to see my team twice in European finals in my life. The date will be easy to find because I just looked through my catalogue, and it was Michael Matheson who was the health
Right,
secretary.
so what we're
at the
going to
time.
do is we're going to play a game, right? So that's at 33 minutes, 34 minutes, right? We will randomly watch a 1 minute section of this video, and what we're going to do is the people in the comments can pick, right? So the first 4 people to put in the comments a number over 35, and the video goes on to 2 hours 20,
2.5
right?
hours.
So stick the time in between 35 and 2.5 hours, and we'll go the first 4. We will go and watch whatever we're doing there and cover it. All right.
What if somebody turns in and says we're on at 2 2030? That's a game done.
Well, aye, so that'll be after. We'll just end the live stream.
That'll be fine. 77.
So guys,
there you go.
77. Right.
77th Brigade. 77th Brigade. If you haven't looked into them, look into 77. You looked into 77?
Right. So that'll be 1 hour and 7 minutes, 6 minutes. There we go. That's as close as we're getting, right?
People who want this place to be safer for our kids, and you're a school teacher, give your head a wobble, right? Give your head a shake.
Everything's just so divided because like I'm sitting there, right, and you try and speak to them, they don't want to speak to you, right? That's very evident now. But they've got this mindset that we're the bad guys because the mainstream media have made out everybody to be the bad guys. It's that simple. It's back to the COVID days. I see it back in the day. See all the people that were going against the lockdowns and all that. It's the exact same thing, and you had people counter protesting that, saying, "You're killing people. You're doing this."
But I think
And what we've got is we've got so much division. But in my opinion, it's all orchestrated.
And I need to get the fact but what we've got a certain side that they don't play golf, they don't go and watch a football team, they don't play snooker, right? They demonstrate, and every week it could be a different thing. See if you take a screenshot or snapshot of people that are pro-Palia rally, an independence rally, trans rights rally, show racism, the Red Cairds rally, right? I'll guarantee you that the majority of them will be the same people. It's kind of their thing, right? And they tend to be people who are to the left of politics, right? So what's happened here is we've had probably a generation where people that are the left of politics go out and protest. It's like in their makeup, right? And now they're trying, in big numbers, by the way, since last summer when it took the death of 3 beautiful wee girls, the horrific murder of 3 beautiful wee girls, for people to actually say, we don't like this sort of stuff in our communities anymore. So now these people that used to have their own way at protest every weekend, right, are going, oh, shit, who are they? No, they don't disagree with you. See, when you saw that with Kate, right? See, when you drill down what she opposes, she doesn't want her old folks' homes shut and turned into asylum.
The fisheries, the farmers.
Right? So it's all the same, but it's as if, but it's no us, it's protest. So, you're not allowed to protest. It's kind of like that. It's like, no, you're not allowed to protest. So I can't disagree with you. So what I'll do now is I'll call you a fascist, racist bigot and try and take the right away for you to protest.
But what's frustrating me is when, because I interviewed her last week, it's on one of the videos, and when you're doing it, you know, I mean, I'm too busy thinking about this and coppers and everything about and dealing with side effects and all that. And at one point she said, "How did I do it? Now, I wish I turned around and like,
she asked you.
Aye, right.
You were rotten.
I know.
Done you like a kipper. You done exactly. And for those that don't know, I invited anybody from the audience that was counter protesting.
Go look at my video and Peterhead.
Come up and talk. I said, I'll give you the last 2 minutes of my mic time. If you want to come up here and tell me and everybody else why you're here, and this one woman came, fair play to her, takes a set of gonads, right? A hostile crowd. She came up, she said a bit, but she made no sense.
But what I said was, right, is you were doing all right until you decided to blame us, the white men in Scotland, or the white men in UK. And this is the thing, I've been hearing this a lot more over the last few weeks, and even on TikTok debates and all that, I'm starting to hear that the statistics say that us, the white males, are now the threat to society.
Well, statistically, it depends how statistics are
just about going on another topic there. So I made an arse of that because as somebody's pointed out, I was asked to go to 77 minutes, which is around 17, and I went in on 7, so we got the second one right. So what we're talking about there, John, it's just the madness at the left, at protests. What's your views on
them? Again, like I highlighted there, it's just kind of like narrative. Anyone that goes against the narratives now a far right, racist, Nazi thug. It's funny today because I actually had a guy in my comments today on Facebook, and I don't really engage with comments, to be honest with you, Craig. I kind of like just, let them slide and let them do it. But this guy was going on, you should be ashamed to be a Celtic fan, and you're sitting shouting outside, and it was a video saying, it was someone saying, I don't understand why people aren't standing up in this country. And then he says, and I replied going, well, what are you going to do in the future when when this world goes to absolute chaos? What are you going to say that you done? Which is basically sit back and allow this to happen, where people like myself and Craig and many others out there are trying to show people that you're being manipulated. So with the people over on that side, it just seems to be that anything with a narrative, because when I went to Peterhead, so this is the funny thing, when I spoke to Kate in the interview at Aberdeen, that I got on the camera, it's like I said, I wish I actually turned around and said, no, you done all right until that certain part, Kate, because you absolutely ruined it. And I said to her, I said, do you understand what I was talking about today? And she was kind of like, nah, not really. Right, so she says, I said, no, you didn't because you didn't want to listen. Now, I turned around and said, I actually spoke about my injury, the COVID jag, and I was trying to say what happened to me could have happened to you. And she went, oh, so you're an anti-vaxxer? And I said, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, what are you talking about? I took three of these things, stupidly took 3 of these things, and now you've called me, and it's like, it goes to show me where people's mindset is. When you want to use words like conspiracy theories or fascist, these words were actually created, if you actually look at it, these words are actually created to stop debates. These words are created to shut down any conversation at all. I say to people, if you can actually talk to me without calling me that word, maybe have a chat and maybe get an understanding of why. And it's the exact same thing over there when you're trying to talk to these people. It's just against the narrative, Craig, and that's what it is. When you're going against the narrative, it's funny because when they're over there, I was speaking to somebody earlier on about this, and when you sit there and speak to them, it's like, right, okay, they talk about Palestine, right, and all that, and I say, right, so you don't trust government? No, right, so you don't trust mainstream media because you think that the mainstream media have been against Palestine. Now, again, I've always said about Palestine and stuff, I've got empathy towards it, but I just won't deal with it because it's not our battle, it's not our fight. There's plenty of wars going on and everything else. So I sit there and go, but if you don't believe mainstream media and you don't believe in government, then why are you But, well, I guess I'll just speak to everybody else. But what I'm saying is, if they don't believe mainstream media and they don't believe government, then why are they believing mainstream media and government? And Craig's just knocked over his light there. He done this exact same thing in the podcast. I'm sitting narking on and he just walks out. What's the point in me being here? He's done the exact same thing. I'll just read the comments. Why talk about a country? Exactly. Many of new generations of internet TikTok culture don't really know. I never took a vax. Never believes that. Exactly. At the end of the day, but at the end of the day, I don't know. You can't really carry on when he's just done the exact same thing he done in the podcast. It's like, there's John talking. I'm just going to beat it. He could have put his little 10-minute, 5-minute advert out, told everybody what he's all about, but instead he's tripping over his place like he's in Mission Impossible. He's not even heard anything I've said. What do you think of that, Craig?
Aye, brilliant, mate. Aye, 100% agree with
you. Done the exact same thing in the podcast. I'm starting to natter on, and you just beat it. You just done the exact same thing.
No, what happened, mate? I've got a warning's come up on my telly to say it's about to turn off, right? I'm like, I don't want my telly to turn off, but I can't find the remote, so it might turn off. We'll just go back to my laptop, so we'll just deal with that.
But basically, what I was saying, Right.
No,
So what
I-
what I was saying there, right, is when I'm speaking to them, I'm saying to them, right, you don't believe government, no. Don't believe mainstream media, no. So why are you believing the very people? Why are you believing the very people that you're against? It doesn't make sense. And they're using these words, they're causing a divide, and they'll create the problem, create the solution. And I actually, Craig, believe it or not, I bought the Daily Rag today.
Oh, yes, let's do it.
I bought the Daily Rag today, and when you're talking about divide and conquer, now the video I done at the weekend there, I know we're talking about the podcast, we can go back to that, but the video I done at the weekend there, right? The woman that I interviewed that was wearing the Union Jack, right? She messaged me. She sent me a video, a voice note today because she's livid. She's livid, right? So see, I don't know if you can see this here, right? I don't know if it's all blurred, right? But this woman there, see that there? I don't know if you can see her, right? But anyway, so she's messaged me today. Yeah, if you can read it. Now, the other thing as well is what we've got is very clever tactics by the Daily Record. So what we've got is we've got the far right, and also we've got the young lassie that was in Dundee holding up two things that are jaggy objects. You know, so what we've done here is psychologically we've put people that they're claiming to be far right. Now we've got this young lassie wielding it. Now again, we don't know the context of this video with this young girl. Have you got that article? But that woman, what that woman has said in the papers about.
What's the headline, John? Read out the headline to me.
So the headline, I think I sent you on your. I sent you on your WhatsApp.
Aye, but on my phone. Aye, you need
Is it better to send on X?
Try and find it. No, just tell me the headline. I'll find it.
It says Labour MP slams asylum hotel policy.
Labour MP.
And it's Joannie Reid, whatever the hell that is.
Joanie. Weird spelling.
Joani. Just double check. Joani. Joannie Reid.
Labour MP. And what was the rest of the headline? Labour MP what?
Slams asylum. She slams asylum. I don't. Labour MP slams asylum hotels policy. What I can do is I can send you.
So she's slamming the hotel policy, but actually, that's mental. I'm not getting that online at all. Did you find it? I'll send you.
I'll send you on. Can you get into your X?
Yeah.
Can you go to your X? Go to your X DMs. I've sent you on there. Very interesting read, Craig, and the fact that she's called these people. What was it? She said coked up thugs. I think she called everybody that was there at the weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, so she's called everybody that was at the thing. They are the ugly face of immigration debate. No decent person will want to be part of their coked up yobbery. And that was elderly people and grandmothers and children. Oh, there we go. Have a good read at this, Craig.
Right. So it is. Why is that at the top bit? About shit. Right. Labour MP blasts coked up yobbery of far-right protesters as she hits out at disaster of asylum hotels. So she's agreeing with certain things that the asylum hotels are a disaster, but she'll slaughter her constituents that are standing out there, telling the rest of the country. Exclusive, Joanie Reid said it was hardly a surprise that hundreds of unemployed young men are roaming the streets would cause community tensions. So she's now actually backing up another claim, and that is that these young men roam the streets and cause community tensions. Right? So she's confirmed two things that we're saying in the headline alone. And Paul Hutchins, I think he's maybe an SNP supporter. Scottish Labour MP blasted unmitigated disaster of asylum hotels as she hit out at the SNP over local service cuts. She's having a go at everybody here. She said it's hardly a surprise that hundreds of unemployed young men roaming the streets would cause community tensions. She also hit out at the coked-up yobbery of far-right activists, who she accused of whipping up hatred and division. Now, I kind of been at a lot of protests, John, and I've kind of been about a lot of people in my time that I've had been, as you would describe, coked up. You know, and I can't think I've seen anybody at any of the protests where I would think that person's coked up. Have you?
No. Well, I mean, Craig, I interviewed two women that were grandmothers, and I interviewed a woman that was clearly in her 80s. At the end, you know, this is the fantastic thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine we were set back in the 1990s or whatever, there was no internet. This is the crap we would be, and we wouldn't have any evidence of any of this. So thank God for the internet, and thank God I can get up out of my bed and actually do this kind of stuff, because the fact that people want to actually believe this nonsense, go look at the video and go and look and see if there's any. Number one, there was no violence on the day. The guy, see at the very beginning of the video, the guy even says that. He says, stick to the rules, stick to here, do this, do that, don't walk in the road. There's obviously going to be opposition there, keep the chance very, you know, he says everything he has to say. But the fact is that woman's just called everyone there coked up yobs.
Yeah, right, let's read on. Keir Starmer's Labour government was under huge pressure over the previous Tory policy of housing asylum seekers in hotels to close to communities. So this is a bit, we blamed the last people who were rotten, right? We sort of justify the new people who have now had 13 months in power, right? Who are actually opening more of them, okay? Because every week we find more hotels that are getting these contracts, right? Protests have taken place across the UK, including in Perth and Falkirk, with critics claiming their local services are at breaking point. Starmer has promised to abolish asylum hotels by 2029. Well, that's bonkers, because anybody that's given a contract, and we get to see the contracts, they're generally between 5 and 7 years. So if you're giving somebody a contract in 2025, even for 5 years, well, that's past 2029. And if it's 7-year ones, then we're even worse in the quagmire. So why do we keep opening new ones when you're telling us you're going to smash the gangs and abolish the hotels? He is set to announce a fast-track appeal system. Right, but you can have the fast-track appeal system all you want if you're still allowing them to appeal and giving in to them once you appeal for an asylum that's been knocked back in the first place, because to appeal you must have had it knocked back. So he's wanting to speed up that appeals process. That doesn't tell you that we're going to start knocking back more appeals. That just means you'll be doing them quicker. So if you've got the current legislation and lawyers, judges being so woke, lefty, and saying, you can stay. And some of the outrageous videos that I've done about these decisions, we've seen people, right, had been told that you're going, and they've appealed the decision, and they've won their appeal. One of the most outrageous ones I ever heard was an Albanian guy who was caught with something like 250 grand worth of cash plus drug paraphernalia, suggesting he was selling drugs. And when he got out of jail and he was to get papped, he argued that his son only liked the chicken nuggets in the UK, and he's a fussy eater. They let him stay. There was another asylum seeker who was getting papped back to the Caribbean. And she said, I can't go back to the Caribbean. While she was in Britain waiting for her appeal process, she got married. And she got married to a guy, I think he was Albanian, to be fair, as well. And she said, I can't go back to Jamaica, the Caribbean. Sorry, I don't know if it was Jamaica, but certainly a Caribbean island, because he doesn't like spicy food. So you can speed up the appeals process all you like. If we still come out with stupid decisions, we're still going to come out with stupid decisions. All we're doing is, what we really need to do is do away with the appeals process, right? Don't speed it up. That'll not make any difference to the amount of people here, because we kind of let them all stay anyway. Absolute crimes. Anyway, Reid, the Labour MP for East Kilbride and Straven, funnily enough, East Kilbride got one of the worst for this in the country, which is the Bruce Hotel. said locals are furious about the situation left behind by the Tories. So, fun enough, we've got a Labour MP telling us the Tories are bad, right? And we've been doing it for 14 months. But
and he's cut out again. And now I'm just sitting here myself, waiting for him. Pack your bags. I thought, where's he went? Like, he needs to get this sorted. Now he's just left me on my own. You don't get that much. I've been, to talk about the Bruce Hotel, I've been speaking to people that are near the East Kilbride area. I've actually got family near that area and they're saying that it's bad. What's going on, Craig?
my connection, I've got a wired connection between my camera and the computer, and I've pulled it out when I was moving the stuff about. And my camera had unplugged. So, shite. Anyway, you were saying about the Bruce Hotel?
No, somebody was talking about the Bruce Hotel, and I won't.
Don't let me stop you in a good story.
No, well, I've got family over that way, and they were basically telling me that it's getting pretty scary out there, and I won't be surprised if we see the Bruce Hotel or the Paisley starting to do it as well. So yeah, just won't be surprised in the very near future. I'm not inciting that. I'm just
This
saying
woman
that.
this woman is a Labour MP.
Mm-hmm.
This woman is a Labour MP for East Kilbride.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
It's everybody else's fault.
When
I
was
can't
that-
wait to get to there.
when was
the
the last?
Scottish government, which has been accused of running down?
Sorry, mate. You're lagging
sorry?
again. I'm saying you're lagging again. You're behind by about 10 seconds.
Right, okay. Oh well, you'll catch up. Right, so I'll start reading it again. In a swipe at the Scottish Government, which has been accused of running down local services, she said the SNP government has done nothing but offer a running commentary from the sidelines, even as they decimate local council funding. But the Labour government was going to act. What, now? They've been telling us for 13 months that they've been acting and they're going to do all this stuff. So just stop talking shite. She said of the protests and wider concerns about asylum themselves, far-right thugs have taken to streets across Britain, trying desperately to whip up hatred and division. They are the ugly face of the immigration debate. No decent person will want to be part of their cope-up jobbery. Yet, I know the concerns run much deeper. Millions of ordinary people have been left angry and bewildered by the chaos in the immigration system and the community tensions that has festered. Under the previous, here we go again, the previous Tory government, the whole immigration system reached the brink of collapse. As a Labour MP, I won't rely on their failure as an excuse. I was elected to fix the problems our country faces. That's why I'm backing the Prime Minister's decision to accelerate reforms to asylum. Refugees fleeing terror and torture deserve our protection. I kind of agree with that. But the people coming in off the boats aren't fleeing anything because France is safe. Meanwhile, we guys like Baraka are sitting in asylum camps for 17 years, right? Because they can't get to France. They can't afford £6,000 per person to bring their whole family into somewhere that's safe. And by the way, see if you'd have got them into anywhere in Europe, they'd have been delighted. They'd be like, thank God we're safe now. We're not in the war of the Congo. And they wouldn't have trekked right across Europe to get to France because we are the most attractive stop for migrants. Anyway, they digress. Refugees fleeing terror and torture deserve our protections, but economic migration only makes sense if it works for Britain too. That is why we need to process asylum applications faster and deport those who don't qualify without delay. Yes, until the judicial system, which was probably created by Starmer and his crank bloody judge pals, right, that'll let them stay because their Wayne prefers the chicken nuggets in Britain. Speeding up process will allow us to end the widespread use of hotels and create a fairer system for everyone. I'm kind of lost the will to live, right? She's obviously evidently a crackpot. And that's probably, see that photograph there? That's probably the closest she's ever been to a council scheme in her life, because she's John Reid's daughter, right? John Reid, that was like an MP and the chairman of Celtic Football Club. He's no shy of a quid or two, right? So see all this nonsense and standing outside council estates. I'm not wearing it anymore. You're a millionaire socialist, and the millionaire socialists are kind of doing man not in just now. So there we go.
I think when you've got
John, I
that
thought you
up,
were in
Craig, it
that photo.
lags. I know I'm not in that photo. I think when you've got that up, it lags a lot more. So maybe worth trying to take that. Anyway, see, to go back to what she was saying there about the divide, right? If she had that full article there and the majority of the things she said, but then had to point out the people that were there, there's your divide right there. There is your divide right there. You know, you go for it.
Greg Bell's asking, Craig, when a comment on here, is it yourself who removes comments or is it YouTube? I've made 2 comments now, nothing racist or discriminatory, and they've been removed. Just wondering. I've removed 1 comment tonight. I can remove comments. I've removed 1 tonight and it was written in Arabic. The reason I removed it is I don't speak Arabic, so I don't know what the person said. They might have been saying something really, really bad and nasty, and I could be held liable because the comments are on my YouTube channel. So I deleted that one. So only one I've deleted tonight, mate. So I would suggest that it was YouTube if you've had a couple disappear. All right. Sorry, mate.
But I'm just saying that the article she had there, she was pretty much on the ball with some things, but she's talked about the divide. Now, that woman messaged me the day that was at that, and she's fuming. Her picture's on there, and she's called that woman, who's a grandmother of a certain age. I won't say it because you're going to get her on, hopefully, and she can tell you. But they've called her and everyone a coked up yob. Now, I wish that the full country would go and watch the video and go, hold on a minute here, what is really happening at these hotels? We need to watch these and go and listen to it. When was the last time you seen these people, these MPs, MSPs, whatever it was, out talking to the people? Like, you don't see it, Craig. You don't see Humza Yusuf in a bloody Nando's. Do you know what I mean? You don't see John Swinney kicking about. They're all just it's funny how if you're a politician and you're doing good, you would expect them to go and they would get all these people on their side, but it just doesn't seem that way. What's going on?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But aye, there's your division there. As soon as she called them that's a division right there. And that's what the mainstream media, Daily Record and all that, they're just part of it. It's actually funny because the Sun actually put a post out, and I was like, that's funny. Because the picture I was in, it was actually the picture. So the picture says, Scotland migrant fears triple in 3 years, shock poll reveals. I haven't read that article, but I'm at the very front of it, walking. And it's like, right, okay, well, that seems like a very fair, that seems like a very fair headline there. People are worried, ties in with the video, blah, blah, blah. But then the Daily Record go and do that. Like, why can they not just stick to the same story? They were all there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. White British and ready. Guys, did anyone see the news about Japan? That's right, Japan taking in African migrants. Nope. Never seen that, mate. That's a bit mental, isn't it? Hi, John. How you doing? It's just, that's pretty mental. I don't know anything about Japan. If anybody has got any news on that, shout us up.
Well, look, I'm going to have to boost in about 20 minutes. Do you want to go back to the podcast, or do you want to go and get people up?
You talk about the podcast because Kev's going to come up, so I'm going to.
Well, if I was to look at the end of the day, look, me and Craig sit down, we shoot it out. It lasted 2.5 hours. Break it up if you want. Watch maybe the first hour, then go back to it. But to be honest with you, it's actually quite a lot to unravel. And I guess the whole point of it is to, because of what they're trying to write about people, this is the thing, a lot of people know what's going on, but share it to your mates and go, are these guys really what they're trying to make out? Are they really right-wing? Are they really racist? Are they really this, that, and the next thing? The guy in my comments on Facebook today calling me a racist thug and all that. And I said, well, number one, go look at my videos and go and see what I say and find anything that I say racist. And as soon as you find that, come back to me. They can't do it. People can't do it. It's just a word that's been used just to shut conversation down. And as soon as you start using that narrative with the mainstream media, you've lost the argument with me already. It goes to show me you can't debate. You can't debate because you don't know what you're talking about at this point in time. So we'll keep continuing to do what we're doing. And I'm pretty sure more people will start to come to this side and more people will start to see the truth. Do you know what's great, Craig? The amount of people that have seen that video, which has been a majority in Perth at the weekend, it's actually worked in our favour because now Perth are going, you know what, these guys are doing some good work. So we keep going, Craig. Where are you visiting this weekend? Your audio, man. Your audio is away. Somebody get him a...
I am absolutely too old for this. I've muted myself. Yeah, Falkirk, I think, has been stopped this weekend. Got a couple of personal things I need to attend to, so I kind of we'll be doing that. There's a question here, John. You want to take that one?
Craig, when are the protests in Glasgow and where? Right, so I will be announcing. How many people you got watching, Craig?
Don't know, but 500.
So there will be something getting announced very soon. So keep an eye out, and as soon as you see the flyer, share it far and wide. And basically, this is a rally for not me, not Craig, not anybody. This is a rally for all of us. We're going to do it in two parts. We're going to do one, and again, this is everybody. There's a whole load of people coming together for this rally. So it's not mine, it's not Craig's. This is the people. This is the people coming together. So announcing it very soon, and we're going to do it in two ways. The first one, we're going to announce it very soon, and then we're going to come back before the general election in April, and we're going to come even bigger and louder, and we're going to bring the noise, because this man here, the guy that doesn't listen to me and walks out the room when you talk too much, wants to get into Holyrood, and at this point in time, he seems like the only guy that's actually going to speak the truth, and so we've got to give him an opportunity, because let's be honest, he doesn't have the media, he doesn't have the government on his side. At the end of the day, it's got to be us that make the change, and I've been saying it, we're going to bring the noise. So watch this space for Thursday, and we're all going to do the best we can to make the change that Scotland needs. True, Craig? True. Kev?
All right, man, how you doing?
Not bad,
Kev, you're muted. Kev, you're muted.
I'm not, my mic's open.
Kev, I can't hear you, you're muted.
Aye, no bother, big man. I'm not buying that one.
Kev. Hello,
Aye,
Kev.
Craig, can't hear you. Craig, you there? Craig.
Did you see John's pearly white teeth magnified there and he took his
I
glass?
did, aye. Look at that, man. That was about £2,000 worth. That's what you buy a coffee gets you.
Oh, God. I wish.
I mean, Craig spends all his money on his studio and trips and that. John goes and gets hair transplants and white.
I get in off the punters. I spend it going on trips and doing this and buying stuff. Bought another drone, by the way. So that's going to get two. I get two.
Crash the first one, aye.
And I'm just about to buy. Probably tomorrow. There's some of the YouTube money come in tomorrow. We'll probably buy another mic, which has got 4 uses. Will be great because I don't need to jump about going, what am I doing today? I need that mic. Am I putting it on an iPhone? Am I putting it in my computer? Am I putting it in my camera? You can just use it now. So I'm kind of looking at that now. So
I'm looking at body cams.
I've got one. I keep telling you, I've got one. You can have.
Link up to your phone, though, Chief. Because some of the body cams don't. Some of the big cards you've got to stick them into your laptop.
Aye, there might be a way you can put a cable in between it and your phone. I don't know. You can try it. I got it to go to when I went to Cali. I bought it the day I was leaving. I was in B&M Bargains getting like water and stuff for the journey, and I just saw these things. I went, that'd be great, but I had to put it in a lanyard. It was the only thing I could get, and it was swinging about daft. But I bought a harness. I I don't know what it is. Anyway, a body harness is what, and it just sits steady there, so you can try it. If it works.
Can I just say something, right? I've got an idea for a video, right? Now, Craig, me and you have been speaking about this video, right, for a wee while.
Of course you have, John.
Angela.
Right, now,
Kev, Angela's shown an interest there.
Oh, thanks, Angie. See?
he's got pronouns.
You're not supposed to say that when I put my camera on.
Angie, he's got pronouns.
I've pronouns. You don't even start that, Kieran, sir.
So right, here's the thing, right? See if we can get money donated to buy me a coffee, right? I'm gonna do this video, and Big Craig's gonna be there alongside me to have a complete laugh with it. I don't want to say too much, but I'll be hilarious.
John, Nathan's buying you a coffee because you're going to buy yourself a new sunbed, right?
No, but I want to try and do it for in the next week or two. The one that we're talking about, Craig, you know, the one we're talking about.
One in
So
November.
we need to go to the shops and do things. I don't want to give too much away, but it'll be a good laugh.
Gavin UK is asking Demo Perth is coming when's. I don't know, mate. I don't know. People, I can only tell you the stuff I know, and the only one I know about this week or two.
That's the thing, I mean, that Perth one, they're not advertising it well enough, know what I mean, for people to turn up there.
Aye, listen, folk know I'm an open book. Anybody that's great, want to push any protests, something on Twitter, I'll either go and do a podcast with you, or I'll get you on a live instead. I'm happy to give everybody that abuse my platform, and we'll get the word out, you know. But I don't like this FS lumberjack. Will the harness be okay with the moves, Craig? They might be talking about you here, Kev, if I gave you the harness. I don't know. It's
I've not got moves, I'm cuddly.
All right.
I need more info before I do it. Craig, how do you say it? Because you can't get...
Can they pull your hair extensions?
Oh, right, that's for you. Look, John, because Lynn doesn't mind donating to me because I'm a blue nose. We are. Oh, here.
I can't give you too much away, but it'll involve Craig and me going shopping. That's all I'm going to say.
Aye. Right.
And Zara.
Well, it won't be Zara, trust me.
No, you couldn't know. I think a bit undercover. Anyway, I've got to go some fancy dress, right, and just have it, right? Just cause it. Just
you can't say too much because it'll be basically, it's what you said, undercover. There you go. That's the.
You'll never get away with it, man. The two of you will never get away with it.
Going off.
If we put it out here, then we won't get away with it.
Anyway, just something.
You're practically telling everybody.
God's sake, Kev, shut up. Right. She's asking if you get PayPal. Johnny has. See if you go onto John's Facebook page or Twitter, or his YouTube. He's got a link. Well, if you go and watch that video, it's just after the intro. Edinburgh, September the 6th. Yep, I've been asked to talk at that. That's outside Holyrood. Looking forward to that.
Yep.
Carol's obviously watched the video and says it's a quick 2.5 hours. Well, nobody's ever said me and John take our time. Right. I'll be promoting Perth protests. Good, Norrie. When you hear about them, let us know and we'll share the word. Just try to see if there's any questions. Oh, here's a question. The problem with fighting for any cause is the constant aggression experienced from people who seem incapable of actually thinking logically. Tech, you're a clever guy. There's no question in there. But I'm happy to read it out. And I don't know if John's got the same love and devotion as the other person has, but John's saying hi. So Kev, Kev, you need to tell a story, right? We're up at Aberdeen, right? And I got asked to talk. So did you, to be fair, but I was only one brave enough to do it. And can you share with the audience the story what I said to the Aberdeen fans in the audience?
He's away.
Kev's off. Anyway, I was asked to talk at Aberdeen, and for anybody that knows Scottish football, the intensity of the relationship between Rangers fans and Aberdeen fans is on a par with the relationship with Rangers and Celtic fans. It was really bad back in the 80s, right? And I used to get battered every time I went to Aberdeen as a teenager. So I said that how great Scotland was doing with protests, and I get 2 awards. The first one's for Falkirk because of the numbers they pulled for a town their size. The amount of people that they got in the streets was absolutely phenomenal. But I said I also need to give an award to Aberdeen, and that's for consistency, because you guys are smashing it. Well done, you're doing everybody proud. And they go, oh, and then I went, and by the way, see me as a Rangers fan, you've no idea how hard that was to say, right? And they all, moo, right? And I went like, oh, shut up, we are the people, right? And then just going with my speech. Now, if I'd done that in Aberdeen 2 years ago, I'd have get smashed out of Aberdeen. But it just shows you it was received in the humour it was meant, and it was quite funny.
You can see how much people don't care
Don't
about
care
it
about it
anymore.
Oh.
I actually shared the day, right? Get this one, Craig, right, on my Facebook. There was a guy with a Celtic top hanging a Union Jack up, right? Now, I don't know if it was in Ireland or whatever, but the guy's got a Celtic top on, and he's taking a Union Jack. You know how they're all putting the flags up, and the boy put the flag on, right? Now, I'm sitting there going, I don't think that boy's at the wind-up in this day and age, maybe before, because you're going to get Celtic fans who go, oh, that's just stupid. At this point in time, I've said it before and I'll say it again, it's a bit of cloth to me at this point in time. It's people coming together. I see it now, the divide, because people are saying, we're in Scotland in the Union Jack, and if you look at this and you look at that, and I'm like, can we just stop? Can we just stop? See, right, at this moment in time, if that's going to be your mindset, we're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to get any further. If your mindset is because of a piece of cloth, because we've been programmed to hate a certain flag at this point in time, is that really what's going to stop you for joining the right side of history? Or are you going to just continue to go, nah, as soon as I see that flag, that's it. I've got the Celtic heat on, I've got the Rangers heat on. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse.
The Stuart Robb saying, come have a demo in Paisley, guaranteed to get you elected. Well, we've got 2 things there, Stuart. I kind of don't want to arrange protests in other people's areas for the simple reason you just get told, oh, you're just a far-right agitator. I came to Paisley, made a video about the concerns of people in Paisley, and I was delighted to do it. Well, the certain area I thought that our old folks' home was going to get converted into an asylum venue. I went up, done a piece, done that, got a bad bit of a piece wrote on me in the Daily Record. I'm cool with that. But the end result was the council then came out and said, we're not making it an asylum venue. And in reality, a couple of weeks later, I got contact with somebody from the inside saying, by the way, they're saying that it was never going to be, it was, but because of that video and a bit of thing with the locals, a wee bit of reaction, they decided, no, we better not make that an asylum. So you can make differences, and I'm delighted to do these things, Stuart, but I think protests and demos have to be organised by the local community, or it kind of loses its value. But if there's one, I'll drive it, I'll push it, I'll tell people to come to it, I'll come to it myself, and if anybody wants me to speak, I'd be happy to do so. The other thing is, it would never get me elected, because I'll be standing in the list seats in Glasgow. So, although I was born in Paisley Maternity, I was brought up in Linwood. I lived there, I was 12, and then moved out to Bridge of Weir. I'm local to that area. I'm a Renfrewshire guy up to I was about 20, 21. And then I moved out to Houston in 2011, 12 for about another 7 years. So I know the area. The area's close to my heart, but I would come out and do that. I'm not expecting votes because it'd been possible anyway. So get together, get people in Paisley, organise it, tell us a date. We'll be there. I'll be there anyway.
I think for now on, Craig, it's kind of like if you've got something going on, me and Craig will go and document it for you. I'll go out, I'll document it for you, and I'll do what the mainstream media should be doing. I'll do the journalism that they should be doing, and I always try and get both sides, but I'm not allowed to get both sides, and that's what I'm hoping this video in the future will get. But at the same time, yeah, if there's anything going on and we hear about it, I say at the weekend there, Craig covered Aberdeen, I covered Perth. This weekend, I think none of us can make Aberdeen this weekend, so might be there in Falkirk or anywhere else there is one. And it's that simple. That's what we're trying to do. Try to make people aware of what's really going on.
Yeah, Norris, he's local up there. We had Celtic, Rangers and St Johnstone fans all at Perth Rally. The division's over. Kind of get that. Despite my look and my preference for nice polo shirts we could put you there. No, I was never a football casual. I was brought up in the era. I was a teenager when that was all kicking off, and I had a couple of pals that decided to stop playing football on Saturdays because they wanted to go to away days and get a scuffle. But no, I was probably too fit. But I did see some mental stuff in the 80s. So anybody that went to football in the 80s did. And in my later life, I've got to know just through coaching kids football, some ex-football casuals who tell me plenty of stories about the back of the day. So no, but I've never been a casual in my life.
I think someone says in the comment, Bring Noise went too easy on that Daft Copper, taking him out of the area. Regarding the police, I'll just be respectful to the police. No, if they're going to sit there and tell me, no, I'm just going to be respectful and say, no bother, mate. Do you know what I mean? That's it. I mean, they're there to, you know what I mean? The police are there to kind of be impartial, if you want to call it, even though we still allowed people to walk in amongst from the other side, which is really frustrating. Like, there was a woman at the weekend there with the curly hair and that, and she was quite happily, freely allowed to walk into the side there, take videos very close up, but I wasn't allowed to go and cross a line. So there's definitely something, one rule for one, a different rule for another. So
Aye, there's the Denburn. I'm a Tim, but I support Craig. Listen, mate, I can't believe it, and it was early on, right? I kind of thought when I started talking about politics that I'd already built up an audience on my YouTube channel because I used to just interview Rangers people, Rangers directors, ex-Rangers players, that sort of stuff, and that was kind of why I started the channel, and it was a hobby. And then when I started talking about politics, I thought we're not going to get. You know, I've already got an audience that's Rangers fans, but quite quick. I mean, there's one there who's Sir Kev.
Who's that?
I was talking to a guy who put the comment up. I'm just talking about how mad it's been, this journey, particularly over the last 12 months. And even when I was down in London, I went down to London for the Save Project the Kids rally. And I can't remember, was it Russell Square we met up before we went for the marching part of it. And there was selling. I don't even know if I spoke to a single Ranger. Oh, I did, but they were all English. There was a couple of boys that had like Rangers tops and stuff, and I went on, everyone was English. But the amount of people that came up to me to talk, and I don't see folk with 50 teams to support, we're interested, but at a rally, we're not a game. But there was one guy came up, he was, they were Aberdonians, Aberdeen supporters. There was one guy, there was two guys, I think they were Celtic fans that I met in London. But the one that really had me tickled was a guy came up with a Union Jack around him, wrapped around him. And he started talking away, and I was like, "Yeah, Edinburgh, mate." And he's like, "Aye." I says, "I'll take it you're a Jambo." He's like, "No, I'm a Hibs fan, right?" It's Union Jack. I know what you need to do, mate. You need to go to the next game at Easter Road and just walk in with that flag and see what happens, right? And you're like, it's brilliant, right? Because it's kind of football for large parts of my life. Football was the be all and end all, John. The things that we spoke about in that podcast, if football wasn't the be all and end all to me, I wouldn't have done half the stuff that we spoke about in that podcast. But I kind of get it now. I mean, see if this was 5 to 10 years ago, I'd have been sitting desperate for Celtic to beat, and I wouldn't have known that he's were at penalties. I wouldn't need anybody to come on to a chat and tell me, because I would have been sitting making sure that I knew that score. And I kind of think the penny's dropping a lot of people. That it's bigger than that. It's a bigger problem than who's going to be the next champion of the Scottish League.
It's not even that Celtic Rangers thing. It's that body, those two flags that are getting flied now. It's that Israel Palestine. That's the other divide. And I'm like, going, can we just focus on this country? Can we put the difference aside? Can we focus on the future of our country, the future of our kids? And you're going on, and I always go back to it. The fact that the north and the south of Ireland stood there hand in hand saying, we have enough. Does anyone in Glasgow and Scotland realise that is bigger than these two football teams right now in our country? Those two standing hand in hand is a bigger statement than Celtic and Rangers. And if that's the mindset of these people, leave them to have that mindset, because if you don't actually, I don't want to say the word wake up, if you don't realise what's to come, if it doesn't change, it's going to get worse. And put the football aside, honestly, I actually get really frustrated, Craig, when I think Celtic and Rangers are this weekend, right?
Yeah.
we're going to see the passion of all these people, right? We're allowed that 90 minute of passion, right? I'm going to sit there and I'm going to phone Craig up again. He's going to be what's that, 4 games into the season or whatever. You've no one anyway. And Craig's going to be absolutely just raging in Sunday. And that's it.
I think you never seen the game tonight, John.
No, I don't. But the 90 minutes.
I wouldn't be so confident.
It's name, Kev. Come on. Right, anyway, so what I'm saying, right? Don't play devil's advocate. Don't sit there like Switzerland. Don't sit there like Switzerland, right? It's fine.
Hold on, John. Right, just hold on a minute here, right?
Right, it's not
It's no Clyde One here, right?
It's not. Aye, Clyde One.
What I'm saying, right? On Sunday, right? On Sunday, you're going to see these people getting absolutely passionate about this. The passion. Going to bring the same passion for this country, please, and that's what I'm begging on both sides. Bring the passion, man.
Yeah. John, there's a question for you. Lynn's obviously trying to look after you and help you your fundraising for your events, so you can't see your people on YouTube.
So if you go to the podcast, see what Craig's got up on the right hand side, which is the wee buy me a coffee. At my podcast, I've got the same thing, bottom left and right. See if you whip your camera out, you can actually scan the QR code and it'll go straight to the Buy Me a Coffee or PayPal. But also in the description, so if you go to the description of any of the podcast, there's a PayPal link. So if you copy and paste that, it should work as well. But just any help at all, just like Craig, all my equipment costs money, diesel, travelling, doing all this to get the information out, to try and do what the mainstream media are doing. That's it. If you want us to keep going, that's what it. Unfortunately, we don't. You don't get anything for this. YouTube does not pay that well, guys. I will honestly say that from my end.
I do all right with YouTube adverts, right? And I need, it's when I'm really on it. I'm not the last 6 weeks. He's not been in it. I think probably my rest put paid to some of that. But when I'm doing like maybe 2 to 3 videos a day, I do all right on YouTube. But and what I do is if people with a membership and send stickers and stuff, that all goes on equipment in the studio that I'm setting up and stuff like that, and drones and just buying a new microphone. I'll do that tomorrow when the YouTube money is dropping in tomorrow. And then the stuff on Buy Me a Coffee. Always dead straight with people, that pays for the trips. And I only done it when I went to Lesbos because I thought this Lesbos one cost me about £1,000, over £1,000 it worked out. But I thought the videos ain't going to pay that. So I thought I'll put the Buy Me a Coffee and I'll get maybe 300 or 400 quid. That'd be fantastic. Well, it paid for the whole trip. And I've got about 500 quid over that trip that's sitting there. That'll pay. That's a starter for the next trip. And that's kind of what I do with the money. So anybody, the super stickers, the memberships, all the stuff that comes through YouTube, that helped me put all this equipment together. And then the money that comes through Buy Me a Coffee. And Buy Me a Coffee take a fraction off YouTube, take about 40% off. So when people are in your tenor, they've worked hard for it. It's Buy Me a Coffee. It gets
the other thing as well. The other thing as well, Craig, like it takes hours on end to edit. Like I can't tell people how much it takes. So never mind the filming, the actual editing part. It can take me up to 5 to 6 to 7 hours, maybe even a day, just to edit a rally to try and get it the best of quality I can. So any donation helps us keep going. But for me, it's just a moral compass, and you've got to just keep bringing the noise, I like to say. That's it.
Listen, if nobody done anything for us to help, me in particular, I can only talk for myself, I suppose, I would still do what I'm doing, but I wouldn't be able to go to, like Ballymena to drop a hat, I wouldn't be able to go to, well, I done them off the strength of my own, I just took a mad notion, and thankfully the videos worked out well, but I knew going to Greece wouldn't get anywhere near the same views, and it didn't. So, that really bailed me out. And it's gave me, it's 500, maybe even 600 quid, I'll need to check it, already over the cost of the Lesbos for the next one. So if something kicked off tomorrow in Dublin, for example, I know I can click a button, put that money in my bank account for buying a coffee, go and buy a flight, go and rent a car at the other end and pay for my car to be in a car park. And if that cost me, and even if I had to stay overnight, a couple of nights even, that whole trip would probably cost about £600. It's there, go. I can go do these things, and it's great having that support. That's kind of what it's all about, you know. But you know, if there's none of that came in, I would still do what I'm doing. I just wouldn't be able to do the trips
As
just
much.
as much and just the drop your hat stuff. I mean, the amount of times there's flights to Aberdeen and I had to stay overnight with one, you know. So these things all cost money. Do you know what I mean? Maybe £100 in petrol, and I was £100 for a hotel. Can you get a hotel anywhere by me? I was just thinking here. I ended up in a Premier Inn in Dundee. But because of the support of the channel, I can just say, it's, you know, I can do it. I don't need to, I'm not any financial risk for it. And it's really humbling, I'll be honest with you, the fact that anybody goes and sticks a £5 or a £10. And some of the things, I mean, that one guy took out a yearly subscription, right, on Buy Me a Coffee. It was in America, $200. And he's like, so you'll get the other 200 in a year's time. And he's put one of the, you know, just does it every, and you're like, unbelievable. Honestly, it's just mad. And then a load of people give me like €100 or £100 and stuff like that. And they're like, it's a very, very humbling, to be honest with you, mate. It's just, I don't like talking about it. I'm kind of comfortable talking about it, to be honest with you. But I'm not taking it as wages. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we do it because we care, Craig. We worry about this future. And for example, if we weren't doing this, there's a prime example. Look what the Daily Record have wrote about Perth today. And if I hadn't went there and done that video and showed people exactly what happened in Perth, then, you know, you'd be sitting believing the mainstream media.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we do.
Where are we going this weekend then?
I'm sure he would. I'm going to Falkirk. I'm sure he was a Scottish guy living in America, buddy. Honestly, I would be you, Kev. What are you up to this weekend? You'll be staying in the house Sunday.
I mean, like the Sunday, but I'm toying between going to Falkirk or Aberdeen at the weekend.
Aye.
Scooter's been moved to next Wednesday, so I'm kind of free on Saturday now. So I'm just thinking about wanting to attend.
Mm-hmm. Aye. So, how did you enjoy Aberdeen and your trip up there?
Well, that was a good day. I enjoyed that. I mean, the trip up was easy enough, and the trip down was easy enough. You know what I mean? I'm actually choked to the cold now. I think I got that halfway when I was winching John at Falkirk. You know what I mean?
Aye.
Me and John had a wee cuddle on a kiss. I think I've got that half him. You know what I mean? But so I'm not sure. I'm every day Falkirk this week because we've got Holyrood next week, and then obviously the 13th of September. And then hopefully the week after there'll be something else that'll be announced. But there's something telling me there's something on the 30th of September as well. But that's a Tuesday or a Wednesday that date.
Aye, is there no something on at Holyrood? I can't, there's that much going on, right? And it's trying to keep track. So I get like a Thursday and go, right, what we're doing this week, and then I look at all my comments and my messages and stuff and figure
There's a farmers rally in Liverpool outside another Labour conference where Keir Starmer's going to be, and I'm hoping to get down there again and try and document that, because it'd be interesting to see if the farmers are any further. I'm clear they're not, because they're going back down to that again.
Aye, true. Stevie, is that you're a crowd favourite up here, mate? I take it that's for your Kev.
No, it's you, big man. That'll be you. You and Gino there.
Gino.
I tell you, Gino's 5 foot nothing, man. 6 foot.
But you're the Gino you would get off if you went into Wish.
Aye. Do you want to hear an interesting fact about Gino De Campo? Gino De Campo went to jail for theft, right?
For house burglaries.
Aye, do you know what he stole?
Aye.
Remember Paul Young, Forever I Lay My Heart, That's My Home?
Aye.
He stole his guitar.
Was it not me that told you that?
Of course it was, John.
I don't know you. Aye, well, obviously, John. Aye.
I done a podcast with Jason Gardner. Right? No, I done a podcast with Jason Gardner, who was the Dancing on Ice. God, he was like the Simon Cowell with the judges, And we spoke about that because he knew Gino D'Acampo and all that. And I said to him, and he didn't even know. And I went like that. I said, Gino get done for house burglaries? And he was like, no. And he Googled it right there. And then he went, oh my God. Aye, I'm sure it was me to tell you that, Craig. But anyway. Aye.
No, I've been for 100 years, mate. Fairly well before I knew you. So you can taking a bit.
Because the one in Falkirk's up the high street this week.
One. No, it's changed apparently.
I think it's
All right,
changed.
is it?
I
Where
think
is it now?
It's out.
just the same again, I think.
It's again.
Anyway, is there any callers tonight, Craigie boy?
Can I get
No, I
one?
didn't make it an open night because there was no point. You were on. So I didn't put it on, Kurt.
Do you know the best part is? If you look at the podcast with me and Craig, it's 90% Craig.
Straight back to John again, you know what I mean? Nothing like plugging his ain't, you know what I mean? Plug. He's using you, Craig. He's using you. Trying to use his profile hanging on your coattails.
Oh, I know. Oh, terrible.
Listen. When you speak in front of 100,000 people, then you can get back to me, all right?
I'm not going to go back to this one again.
He's made one speech, right?
What was it he said? What was it he
Richie
said?
Sunak. What?
I've been in London in front of 10,000, 100,000. Where else we go? I mean, like, bring the noise, mate. Everybody's bringing the noise. Well, I want to see the Dundee footage, please. I don't know what's the Dundee footage. Is there one happening in Dundee?
Not annoying. I don't know why there hasn't been one there either, because they've got hotels there too. I mean, the thing is though, there's hotels everywhere. Do you know what I mean? I'm not surprised with Edinburgh, Moke City. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't surprise me with that place at all that there's no protesting. It's come one, come all. But I mean that it's just. I must probably do Falkirk this week but I'll see how I feel on Saturday when I get up, and then take it for there. Because
What are you thinking about doing both?
No, I wouldn't be able to do both. Falkirk and then up to Aberdeen. That'd be someday that. How many times the Falkirk kick off? I
don't know, mate. I'd say I get to like Thursday and think, right, where and when, how am I getting there, what time do I need to be there, and what time's Kev pick me up?
I'll pick you up. I'll bring the space.
Don't know where Kev's went to again.
What have I missed?
Nothing. Kev was just talking and then just disappeared.
Like the Wi-Fi out the window again.
Slagging me as well. Slagging me.
Is there no calls tonight, Craig? You need to get the calls in, man.
I did deliberately didn't share it because I thought.
Oh, right, okay.
Talking about the video, you'll be having a bit of chat. I thought Kev might pop in later, and I thought I couldn't just couldn't do it. Maybe do it. Where are we tonight? What night is it? Tuesday. Wednesday. Tomorrow, I'm away up to Central Scotland tomorrow night, so I won't be able to do a live. Maybe do one Thursday. Do the all-in one.
Thursday will tie in with what's going to be announced this week anyway. So
I'll good shout actually. Aye, and that woman prepares. We maybe try and get something with her tomorrow.
I probably won't be in tomorrow, but I'm trying to get our details, and then that way we can.
I'll not be able to do a live tomorrow because I'll not be in the house. I'll be on my travels up Central Scotland. So.
Oh, by the way, whoever it was, is it Lynn Chalmers? Thank you very much for donating to the PayPal. All we need is an extra few bob, Craig, and then we can go shopping. That's all we're going to say.
Aye, see, right. Is that what you're doing a fundraiser for, right?
What do we need? What do we need? About 40 quid, 50 quid or something, that's it.
Oh, mate, aye. Between us, right?
So, well, are you doing it? I know, that's the question.
Aye. I don't think I'll get away with it. I think I'll get clocked right away.
Oh, no. It'll be fine.
Nicola Sturgeon sending her thanks again.
Good to see you, Craig. Her book's been brilliant. What's it called, Frankly?
Did you see it was in a signed copy? Was in a charity shop. It's like, come on, it's been a week.
I'm good. Oh, by the way, another one. Boris Johnson is coming to Edinburgh, I think, on the 22nd of September. So I might pop along and say hello to Boris. You know, I've already said hello to his mate Rishi.
What's he coming up for?
A book signing. Doing a book signing.
Shut up.
No, somebody sent me today. Boris Johnson is coming. Let me have a look. I'm just going to see. Someone tagged me in it today. But it's the bold Boris is coming up to Edinburgh. I need to double check the date, but someone tagged me in it today, and I was like, hilarious, absolutely hilarious.
Listen, I'm glad I need to go to the Renaissance. I'll speak to you in a wee while, big man. Right? Eh?
You okay?
What you saying? Aye. I'll speak to you in a bit, mate.
You okay?
Right.
All right, mate. See you, bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Right. Well, I'm not going to set any records. We've done a 3.5 hour one the other night there, and it bumped me out. and Stevie, I think he made his work the next day. He's like, I've got to go up at 5. What time did we start? 8 o'clock? 3.5 hours. So wasn't it? Before, and then I used to stay in the studio, and there was a few was just having a boiler.
I need to learn how to get the StreamYard and then get it over to TikTok as well. Does it align with TikTok, or is TikTok not on it?
I don't know. When you sign in to somebody else's, when you're like a guest on somebody else's StreamYard, it does give you the option of streaming it on your own. And I definitely know Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are there because that's all I use. And then there's another ones that I don't know. Maybe I've not got a clue. The other thing is TikTok not portrait form.
Aye, but you can do it, so there's a TikTok studio. I've used it a few times, and it goes across like this way, if that makes sense. So it can be done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
right. I think we're going to wrap it up there. So thanks very much, John, for spending a bit of time, and the videos came out well, to be fair. Thanks for doing that. It was a good.
Gotta give a shout out to Voice for Dads, the guys for the studio, man. Like,
aye, Voice for Dads, who I've done podcasts with in the last week, and so is John, and a cracking studio down in Ayrshire. And I was back down the other day. Actually, I was down there, I'll get that edited before I go to my bed. With, believe it or not, this is a bonkers one for people to get their head around. I spent a lovely morning with Alec Neil. Not Alec Neil, the football manager, Alec Neil, the ex-SNP cabinet minister. And we had about an hour and a half, maybe a wee bit more. And it really was a good chat, a great chat, to be honest with you. And by that man's beliefs about what should happen with the constitutional question in Scotland, there's not much I disagreed with. I had some great chat with him, and I'd met him about, I think it was about November last year, so about 10 months ago. Met him in town for a coffee because we had like a mutual connection with somebody at a podcast that I was working on. We met for an hour and a half, had a coffee and a chat, and I thought, it was just before Alex Salmond died, actually. I remember that, so whenever he died, it was maybe a couple of weeks before it. And we met up today down to the studio that we've been using recently down in Ayrshire, and as I say, great chat, and a wee bit of banter. When I said something about being a unionist, he was like, aye, Craig, we all make mistakes, you know. I says, is that right? Aye. He says, at your age, I thought you'd have matured now and grew up, you know. So that's, you know, it was great. It was good chat, and we had a lot in common. And I hopefully had a wee pop at Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP, which was quite.
It'll be interesting. I'll give that one a watch. But regarding the studio, it'd be good if we could do another one and we just like put things up on the screen and all that. Maybe use it, I don't know, once a month or something. What do you think? Like maybe a round off of things.
I think when we've got something like maybe an event coming up, or you know, we want to talk about an event, dissect it, it'd be good, because it's a great, an absolutely fantastic
set up.
If we've been shown clips from it, and it's got a great setup, good people, and hopefully
And Scott's, like I say, if you haven't, go and look at Voice for Dads. Scott's doing great work regarding, the justice systems, regarding equal parenting. Check out his channel. He's interviewing a lot of people. He's interviewing people that are in the court system and stuff. So, check them out. And like I say, their studio is fantastic. And we've got to give a shout out to Scott and Voice for Dads.
Yeah, he's been good support. And he's a good lad. Him and Michael that works for him. They're really talented people, and the heart's in the right place, and the support is gratefully received. And the other stuff that he does is his sort of business. We'll get a lot of support from him going forward, I'm sure. His heart's in the right place. So that's us. Listen, thanks very much. Everybody tuned in. The part has been good in the comments. I just can never keep up with it. It's always too much yet. But seems to be a wee community getting formed here with loads of people and a bit of banter back and forth and getting to know each other. And that's fantastic. So long way to continue. And thanks for having me doing that podcast, John. I really appreciate it. It was good chat, and it was. People don't really know a lot about me.
I want to get one with you and Alex Kearney. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? I think a three-way with me and Alex would be good enough.
That didn't sound right the way you put that out there, John. That sounded quite.
You know what I mean?
Aye, but no, it was good fun to do it, and it seems to be getting well received. So thanks, it was worthwhile. We'll do it again soon. All right, bud. Right,
You're
so
not going to do the outro.
See what?
You're not going to do your outro.
What the outro? I'm just going to do it.
All right, okay, go for it. Can I do one?
You do yours first. I'll finish it. I'll do a good one.
If you're the kind of guy that likes talking over, bring the noise, then please do keep liking, sharing, and keep supporting my channel. I need more holidays. I need to get out to Dubai next time, Craig. Anyway, if you're the kind of person that wants that kind of content, then what is it you say? Not you.
You're doing it. You try your best, right? And I'll do
I
the
just
right
say,
one, a proper one.
bring the noise. That's what I say. Bring the noise.
Right. So we'll do the proper one now that you're trying to mimic because you're a red rock. That's it, right? So if you enjoyed this, thumbs up, put the comments below, hit share button so your pals can see it. If you've not already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell so that YouTube will tell you, particularly when I've got new lives, because they come out instantly. They'll send you an email as soon as we go live. However, the most important thing, unless you're the type of person that's trying to get a podcast YouTube channel to improve off the back of my efforts, then not you, but everyone else. Have a great day. Cheery bye now.
Bring it.